can see changes that have come over me. In these last few days I've been afraid that I might drift away. So I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from. That's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me bold and sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. I have moved and I've kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. I have tried and I've kept on trying, stolen dreams, there's no denying. I've traveled hard, my conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me bold and sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. But I'm steady thinking my way is clear, and I know what I must do tomorrow. When the hands have shaken and the kisses flowed, then I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me bold and sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me bold and sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had.
It's a song I wrote about 5 minutes ago called Carpe Diem, Hope Over Fear.
Are you threatened by words from an empire of money and gold? Will you trade in your country's potential for the lies you've been sold? Are you scared that the walls are too high to be breached by the bold? Will you stand and be counted, or shut up and do what you're told? Hope over fear, don't be afraid. Tell Westminster Tories that Scotland's no longer your slave. Carpe diem, will you seize the day? Rip the chains from the unicorn, Scotland's no longer your slave. Did the TV man call you a nationalist for rejecting the lies? Are the words of the few off the bob, cause they wear shirts and ties? When they tell you that Scotland's no great, are you really surprised? Will you stand and be counted for something that money can't buy? Hope over fear, don't be afraid. Tell Westminster Tories that Scotland's no longer your slave. Carpe diem, will you seize the day? Rip the chains from the unicorn, Scotland's no longer your slave. Are you happy that nuclear weapons are dumped on the Clyde? Fighting wars for the wealth of the few, how many have died? You can bury my bones, but the truth of it can't be denied. Will you stand and be counted, 'cause I'll be there stood by your side. Hope over fear, don't be afraid. Tell Westminster Tories that Scotland's no longer your slave. Carpe diem, will you seize the day? Rip the chains from the unicorn, Scotland's no longer your slave. Will the media tell you that England don't want you to go? And the taxpayer-funded MPs tell you just tell them no. No! But in Manchester, Nottingham, Sheffield, they already know that we're fighting for them, and it's only the start of the show. Ha ha! Hope over fear, don't be afraid. Tell Westminster Tories that Scotland's no longer your slave. Carpe diem, my friend, will you seize the day? With the chains from the unicorn, Scotland's no longer your slave. Vote yes for a future. Hope over fear. Haha.
Son, I just wrote this. I thought you might like to know that I chose to vote yes, 'cause a yes vote provided hope. What the future's holding, no one can rightly know. Was tired of the same old script, and what's next only time will show.
I knew you'd ask at some stage. I look forward to us talking about it one day. So here's the story of a hopeful guess, 'cause you're part of the reason that I voted yes. When I was your age, we had some discontent winters. Like in the fairy tales, there was a witch of Westminster with the power and contrast of a comic book villain. She's passed away now, but we didn't say good riddance, 'cause by the time she passed, she was a feeble old lady who forgot what she was doing when she was going places. You should always treat people how you'd like to be treated, 'cause the hurt and anger she left is deep-seated. In school they stopped our free milk. It could be said in a wider context, they stopped our free will. You can't always separate feelings from cold facts. From the school bus I read graffiti saying no poll tax. See, in 1979 people voted to control their own reality, but it didn't happen on the technicality. Then in 97 they said it wouldn't work, but they supposed letting us try couldn't hurt. Now in 2014 they asked the question, do you want to be independent? I remember thinking if we didn't answer yes, you could be 18 before they'd ask us again.
Son, I just wrote this. I thought you might like to know that I chose to vote yes, 'cause a yes vote provided hope. What the future's holding, no one can rightly know. Was tired of the same old script, and what's next only time will show.
This isn't about the colour of your skin, or where you were born, or who you call kin. It's about pure and simple geography, and caring for everyone responsible. It's about people facing poverty with immunity, and building and supporting our communities. Too many people want off the path we're following. It's time to change how we do politics. Responsibility and independence, leading by example with the messages we're sending. Character traits we hope for our own kids one day, so why wouldn't we want them for our country? See, the older you get, the less you see things in black and white, and I'm just trying to do what I think is right. Just simply voting yes, the problem isn't solved, but you can't change the world taking no risk at all. Spin doctors twist strands of stories to control the plots, like Rumpelstiltskin spinning gold from straw, weaving threads like Charlotte's spider web, and the trolls under the bridge became Cybermen. In a time of recession, food banks and destitution, worldwide turmoil with very little resolution, violence and terrorist press wizards cast their best illusions. We were part of a peaceful revolution.
Son, I just wrote this. I thought you might like to know that I chose to vote yes, 'cause a yes vote provided hope. What the future's holding, no one can rightly know. Was tired of the same old script, and what's next only time will show.
Some said we had our heads controlled by our hearts, but you make your decisions with both by and large. As for those who felt their hearts were controlled by their heads, they told the story of the goose that laid the golden egg, meaning that sticking as we were is the safest bet, which is basically succumbing to playground threats. And to me that just wasn't making sense, 'cause there's a possibility for real change instead. They say your home's where your heart is, from Ur Wally's shed to Doctor Who's TARDIS, but it's also true that your heart's where your home is, and it won't be that long till you're grown with your own kids. Of course I had reservations, who didn't? Despite the white paper, Scotland's future isn't written. It's wrong that a politician can only be the shepherd or the wolf, 'cause that way they either want you for your flesh or for your wool. The biggest triumph of the 21st century state was to convince us having a dream is a cliche. 1% of the world has 90% of the wealth, and this system says to step on folk while helping yourself. I hope you're hearing these thoughts with amazement, and inequities consigned to the history pages. I don't want to see another lost generation, rioting, frustrated and cross with their parents.
Son, I just wrote this. I thought you might like to know that I chose to vote yes, 'cause a yes vote provided hope. What the future's holding, no one can rightly know. Was tired of the same old script, and what's next only time will show.